Again, it's Friday early evening, I should say afternoon. Let me apologize to my viewers for being a bit late, but I guess there's a basketball game going on at the United Center. If not a basketball game, something. And I kind of got caught in the traffic. So let me zoom right into your living room or into wherever you are and tell you how delighted I am to be here and to have the opportunity to share these next 20 or so minutes with you. I have a lovely, wonderful lady, my guest this evening, and I'm just going to ask her to go ahead and introduce herself, and then we're going to talk about this wonderful book she has written.
Yes, hi. My name is Melissa Winstin. Well, let me put a title on my name. My name is author Melissa Winstin, and I wrote a book about my mom. And I'm here today with Danny Davis to share with the viewers about my book and just get it out there. You know, a lot of time authors, especially Black authors, they don't get a chance to market their book. And you've been worked so hard and dedicated your time and energy on your book, and it just don't get out there. So I really appreciate you allowing me this opportunity to share my mother's story, to share the community story. This book is about the mothers of the projects. That's the title of the book. And it don't have a verb on it because it's about the mothers of the projects. It's like I said, mothers of the projects. What about these mothers? Who were these mothers? What did they do? How did they live? How did they raise their children? These are some of the stories that people really want to know, you know. So I'm here today to answer those questions so you guys get to know the community, really, you know, because everyone have their perspective on the projects.
Well, let me just tell you, everybody that I know had the greatest mother in the world, including myself.
Yes.
I have 9 brothers and sisters. Wow. And when my mother made her transition, we sat up practically all night arguing about which one of us were her most favorite child.
Yeah.
It got so heated until my father, we were at my sister's house, but he had gone to bed. He got out of the bed, came into the room where we were, and he says, I hear you all in there talking about Mazzy and which one of you were her greatest child. And she focused more. And who was her favorite? He said, well, I got a little message for you.
Okay.
None of you were the favorite.
Oh, wow.
Because I was. and
oh,
so
wow.
It was, but yeah, tell us about the mothers.
Mothers of the projects. Well, this book was my mother vision. And just like, you know, life sometimes get the best of you, and you have to raise, back that time they was raising their grandchildren. So she never got a chance to write the book. And the Lord laid it on my heart. She said after my oldest brother was killed, the Lord gave her to write a book. And she told me many of the stories about the book. And I was waiting on this book. But eventually she passed away, never getting the chance to write the book. So the Lord laid it in my lap. And I'm like, you know, I denied it like anyone else that don't have experience in writing. I tried to get away from it. I don't know anything about writing a book. I don't know anything about a book. So I decided, you know, it just kept tugging on me to write this book, My Mother's Legacy. And I need to get this book out. So one day I just sat down. I said, I'm going to do it. I don't know what to write, but I'm going to write. And as I began to write, and I was thinking about her life, I said, well, maybe I'll write about her life and how things happened for her. Then I thought about the projects. I thought about how she raised us in the projects. I thought about the perspective of people, how they think about the projects, how they thought about how, maybe the mothers wasn't raising us right. Maybe we didn't have good training. We from the ghetto. But that perspective that people thought about us, how they thought we lived, was totally wrong. I remember my mother and her 5 friends, and I remember them building a community. I remember them showing us how to give back to the community, how to love, how to share, how to just be a blessing to our community, and how they was a blessing to one another. I recall when my brother had passed away, my mother didn't have to cook in months because all her friends just came over. They gave, they shared, and they just poured out to her and encouraged her. And I just watched that. Even through their trials and tribulations, they were there for one another. They cared, and it was a great community. We went without.
Which public housing? You lived in public housing?
Yes.
Which one?
Henry Horner Projects.
Henry Horner. Oh,
yes, right here
Mamie
in the West Side.
Bone and
Yeah.
all those Earlene Lindsay and all those wonderful people that I knew and worked with who lived there, who became the representatives. Earlene Lindsay was one of my very best friends.
Yeah.
And she lived in Henry Hornet.
Really?
She also helped start the Mile Square Health Center.
Oh, wow.
And her son Marvin, because she had a bunch of children, but Marvin is a renowned behavior health specialist in the state of Illinois right now.
Right.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Earlene and I used to travel all over the country together,
Really?
organizing health centers like the one right down the street. She helped start that one,
Okay.
Mile Square, that we passed when we came here.
Yeah.
It was started in a 2-story house, 2-story building.
Oh, wow.
Now it's in a $19 million building.
Wow. Okay.
We just passed it before we got here.
Something good came out the project,
Oh,
right?
lots of it, lots of it.
it.
The
And
Vera Beverly was right over here in this area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and these are some of the stories that's in the book. These are the stories. I wrote a novel about my mom and her 5 friends. And, their perseverance, their victories, things that they had to overcome in life. So I put it in a novel. And in this novel, you will find the things that people don't talk about. The things that happen, like you were just talking about. See, I never knew that. And see, that's the problem. We never knew anything because everyone always thought so, like I say, nothing good come out of the project, but that wasn't true. Everything. We built a community. We didn't have to go outside of the projects. We had everything there. We helped one another. We saw our friends hungry. They fed us. They made sure we was taken care of. The same respect we gave our mother, we gave our neighbors. So our mothers, and they deserve the kudos. They deserve to be talked about. And so that's why, I wrote this book. It wasn't just about violence. It wasn't just about guns. That came later, but yet those mothers persevered even through that. They wanted the best for their families. They wanted us to be successful. They sacrificed their lives that we may have success. Going through all that they went through, they had prayer. I recall my mother used to have prayer in her house. People would come over and it'd be a house full of people, and my mother them praying over the building, praying over people, lives, going to the hospital, making sure, when people were sick. These are some things that our parents did. And, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I wanted the readers to know. I wanted them to know what happened, what the things that went on, and my perspective.
Well, Pilgrim Rest,
Baptist
Baptist
Church.
Church. Oh, hey. Been there many. That was Earlene's church.
Oh,
And of course,
okay.
I've been there many times.
Oh,
First Baptist Congregational Church, right there at Ashland and
Yes.
Washington.
oh yes.
Been there
yeah.
many times. St. Joseph's, all the
St. John,
the
yeah.
area that you're talking about.
Revival Center.
A
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. We got some great ministers.
Yeah,
Yes.
now we got
Yes.
the Boys Club and
Yes. Oh yeah, Major Adams.
Major
you remember?
Adams.
Oh yeah, the drum club.
Oh,
So you remember all of that?
Major
yeah.
Adams and Hats Adams. And,
Yes.
oh,
Yes. You know.
just a wonderful area. Yes.
Yes.
So no doubt about it. I've got the book and I've read a little bit, but I haven't read the whole thing. Now I got to find myself the opportunity
To read it. Oh
to
yeah.
read all of it.
To read all of it.
How
I'm
does
telling
one
you.
get this book? I mean,
You know, it's on Amazon. You can get a copy off Amazon, of course. And yeah, that's one way to get it for right now is Amazon. And I won't let you down. I promise. Our parents will be happy.
well, let me tell you, to give accolades, I never hardly make a speech. And I've been fortunate to be all over the world and made all kinds of speeches, including commencement speeches and convocation speeches. And hardly ever do I ever make a speech without mentioning my parents, my mother and my father.
Yes.
And I often say, I looked at my biography the other day, somebody wanted to make sure it was accurate. and they indicate that I included in it that I had the most wonderful parents in the world. And whatever it is that I might be or might become or might do, I owe it to my immediate parents, but all of the other people who were part of parenting.
Yeah, helping raise
Me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, I was delivered by a midwife. We didn't have any doctors where I lived
Oh,
and
yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of thing. So everybody was delivered. And I used to see the lady who delivered me at church or
Oh, wow.
anywhere.
Wow.
And she would say, if I ever catch you doing wrong,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So was
brought
you
you
here?
in this. No, I grew up in rural Arkansas
Oh.
and came to Chicago.
Well, that's where my
Fresh out
parents
of
from.
school.
My grandparents, they from Arkansas. I take this book from 1942 when they came here to Chicago to save my mother's life. That's why they come here to Chicago because the midwives couldn't. She had seven. She had five miscarriage. She had five miscarriage, and she wanted. My grandfather, and her wanted a baby. Now I wrote this in first person perspective. I wrote this as my mother was writing this book because I got all her ideas, her stories, my grandparents' stories. So I got all their stories that they have told me. So I wrote it in her perspective. And this is why. Well, this is why I wrote the book. I wrote the book because I wanted the world to know. I read so many books about the projects. I heard so many stories, and the first thing I always ask everyone when I speak to people, I ask them. I say, what is your perspective of the projects? What do you think about the project? And a lot of times people always have a lot of negativity or negative to say because they don't know. They haven't read. They heard. Everything you hear. And I remember my mother said, you can't believe everything that you hear. But until the person that lived there, that lived in the project, that went through the things that our parents had to go through and had to raise us through and come out on the end with the victory. And that's why I wrote this book, because she is deserving of this book.
And many of them probably didn't know and don't know that the Public Housing Act was actually passed in 1937 during the Franklin Delano Roosevelt administration. It was designed to make sure that low-income people had decent housing. That was the purpose
The purpose of
creating it.
Right.
And it's gone. Last Saturday, for example, I attended the God First Ministries that Dr. Mildred Harris puts on every year. And I think she had about 2,000 of us down at the Hilton. And many of the people there live in public housing. She is a commissioner. And I always say that she does more for individuals who live in low-income housing than any other single person I know in the city of Chicago. So we have public housing as a way of trying to make sure that individuals who in some instances would be homeless, wouldn't have a place to live. We need more public housing right now. One of the big issues in our country is how do we prevent people from being homeless? And there are large numbers of people in Chicago who don't have any place to live. They live in their cars.
Yes.
There's a group that live down the street from my office in a car. That's where I can go by there right now, and that's where they are. We have 2 shelters in this area. One is a 3,300 bed shelter right here on Harrison Street.
Okay.
The other one is a shelter, it's smaller, at the Walls Memorial AME Church, right there on Sacramento and Adams. And so we are still trying to create enough housing so that individuals need not be homeless. And yeah, some people call them projects. I call them public housing residences for low-income people, so that they can have a decent place to live and not be homeless.
And that's one thing I like about you. You know, you always have been for the community. You always have, ever since I have known you. And just to get this opportunity to share my story and to share my book and my experience, this just do me so good. And all respect, you know, to you, because you just allow me to do this, and giving me this opportunity just means so much, you know, because, you know, you're for the community. And like you say, you want people to live and have somewhere to go and have somewhere to live and hot running water. And that's what, you know, I was thinking about before we, you know, my mom had 12 kids. And before we...
I thought we had much.
Yeah.
But...
And before we moved to the projects, we was, you know, slum landlords on the west side, you know, but King had passed away and the buildings had just went down, and you didn't have decent water, and you didn't have, you know, running toilet sometimes, and they just had a lot of slum landlords. But when we moved to the project, we had that. So that was like a safe haven place where you could go. You had your bathtub, you had 2 bathrooms, and a lot of people appreciated living in those homes and was thankful to have that, you know, resource and those opportunities. So, you know, it wasn't as bad as people think, you know, and because many of the parents was on low income, you know, it still allowed them to, you know, they still had those integrity, they had those morals, and they had respect, and they knew how to build a community, you know. So I'm thankful to have came up that way, to know Major Adams, and to be able to go to a boys club and have somewhere to to go and meet good friends and have relationship and build relationships. So it was great living in the project. It was great meeting some of my best friends today is from the project. So, people don't have that. People don't know their neighbors today. Everybody closed in their own homes. No one know each other. But back then we had friends. My daughters and my children, I have 10 myself, my husband and I. And they don't have friends and they don't know their neighbors, but we knew our neighbors. I can depend on my neighbors. If I'm going through something, my mother can call her neighbor, get a cup of coffee, and they'll sit on the porch. They didn't know anything about a therapist. They didn't know what a therapist mean, but they was their own therapist. They were their own source. So I thank God for having that opportunity to see that. And that helped me to grow. And that helped me to understand what life is about. And to respect each other and respect my neighbor, So I'm grateful to have had a place to go. And I'm sure those people will be honored and appreciative to have somewhere to go and somewhere to call home. It's great to have something to call home,
Well, you sound like you've had a lot of fun. Like 10 children.
Yeah.
Some people can't take care of one
yes,
or two. So 10.
10.
Yeah.
10. And my husband worked every day to help take care of my children. And I appreciate him today. And I like to thank him too, because, I say, people always say when you have a lot of kids and they think, oh, that's, I didn't have to ask public aid for one dime. My husband was an asbestos remover. He got up every single day and he worked overtime and he made sure that his children was taken care of. So I appreciate him. I appreciate just being able to, like I say, being strong. That's why I was able to take care of my kids, because I knew what my mother and her strength, and she gave me her strength.
Well, I tell you, the mother of 10 children, raised them, a family life.
Yes.
I've only been married 56 years come November the 1st. I don't know if my wife would describe. I'm going to tell her when I get home. I say, you should have been watching
Oh my God.
my television show. But 56 years come November the 1st.
40 years.
We didn't have 10.
Yeah, 10 kids.
We only have 2.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. Hey.
But the way you describe it, I'll just bet. Now, we used to have prayer meeting at our house. Mm-hmm. We had programs. We had all kind of stuff that we learned how to cook. We learned how to sew.
Yes.
We used to make our own quilts and stuff.
Oh.
We'd have quilting parties.
Yeah.
My mother would have these things hanging down from the ceiling. Everybody would come when you finish your homework. You had a little section where you could create your own designs.
Really?
Whatever you could put on the quilt. It's been wonderful. Yes. Well, I want everybody to go to Amazon and check out this book.
Mothers of the Project.
Mothers from the Project.
Mother of the Project.
Mothers of the Project.
Yes.
Well, it's been fun.
Yes, it has.
And we actually have book parties and book discussions, and the next time we have one, we're going to ask you to come and present your book to the group.
Of course.
I love reading.
Yes.
Reading is fundamental.
Mental,
and
yes.
it's actually reading, I always say, is a great deal of what got me here. So I thank you very much. I want to thank Chicago Access Cable Television for giving me the opportunity to be here with you. Amen. On a wonderful Friday evening. So just keep writing and
yes.
we'll keep reading.
Okay.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank
and
you
if
so
the good
much.
Lord bless, and the river don't rise, I'll see you next Friday
Yes.
at 6:35. Have a good night. Thank you.
Amen. Amen.